You thought you got rid of me. Ha! All right, now I need to address this horse pucky of all lives matter. I tried to film a video the other day in my car. I was cruising around downtown Albuquerque, and I had a lot to say on it. But for whatever reason, I'm having a hell of a time getting it from my phone to my Google Drive, so I'm just going to go ahead and redo this here. Now, kids, here's the thing. I stand behind Black Lives Matter. I stand behind Black Lives Matter for one very simple fucking reason. I'm a feminist. I am a feminist, and as a feminist, I see, and let's get one thing straight. I'm not a feminazi. There's a big fucking difference. I am a feminist in that I believe in equality, meaning for everybody, for the males, the females, the transgenders, the gays, the lesbians, the bisexuals, everything. I believe in equality for everyone, and that includes for skin color. Okay? If a purple fucking alien landed right now, I'd invite his ass in for dinner. Because, the fact is, kids, is that a living thing is a living thing. Okay? Now, I see these idiots with their whole bullshit of all lives matter. And I'm going, duh. And even let's get one thing straight. I don't know what's going on with the actual Black Lives Matters movement, the organization itself. I only have so much room in this head for stuff. Okay? But no one ever said white lives didn't matter when they say Black Lives Matter. They didn't say that. They don't back it up. Okay, point number one. Point number two is this. Black lives don't matter in this country at this moment. The people in power do not care about black lives. I don't give a fuck that there is a black president. I don't care that there is a black fucking Supreme Court justice. I don't care that there are black members of fucking Congress. They don't matter. And if they do matter, it's only because they have whitewashed themselves enough that the establishment has accepted them. Okay? The fact is that Alton Sterling and the other gentleman, I'm sorry, not enough coffee. They were carrying weapons in an open carry state. Philandra Castile, there we go, had advised the officer, I do have a carry permit. I do have a gun on me. I'm reaching for my wallet. He advised him, which, by the way, is exactly what they fucking tell you to do. The police themselves will tell you, if you own a gun and you have a permit and you have the gun on you when you are pulled over, advise the police that you have a weapon, that you have a permit, and that you are not reaching for your gun, you are reaching for your wallet. He followed what the fucking cops tell you to fucking do. And what did they do? They shot him. The fucker shot him. And not only that, this is where people get things wrong. Oh, well, he was pulled over for a broken taillight. How dare he have a broken taillight? First of all, fuck you. I've got a broken taillight on my fucking car right now. Want to know why I'm not pulled over? What? I'm getting the bulb fixed today. Fuck off. The thing is that in the dash cam footage, you can actually see that he did not have a broken taillight. He wasn't even driving. He didn't have a broken taillight. If you listen to the dash cam footage, you hear the officer say that the guy has a wide nose and fits the description of a burglary suspect, I think. And that his only evidence that he fits the description was that he had a wide nose. That's it. That's why he was pulled over. All right. Now, there was another shooting. A teenager who I don't believe was African American. He was Caucasian. He was killed. We have the Trayvon Martin shooting. And quite frankly, how the fuck George Zimmerman got out of that shit and continues to bullshit, I'll never know. The fact is, kids, is that the racism and the racial profiling of this group didn't end with segregation in the 60s. It didn't. It didn't end when slavery was abolished with the Emancipation Proclamation. It didn't. There is still very much racism. And I hate to tell you kids this, but there very much is white privilege. I myself have felt its effects, and I am probably one of the least privileged white people you will ever fucking see. Okay? Just because I'm white and my father served in the military, guess what? I still had to pay cash for my college education. I wasn't handed my fucking degree because I'm white. I had to earn that shit. And I was a teen mother on top of that. Okay? In fact, in the area that I grew up in northern New Mexico, whites are the minority. So you get a lot of shit. You actually get a lot of bullshit from the teachers in the grade schools there because you're not brown and you don't have a Spanish last name. So I know a little bit. And I live in Albuquerque, which is probably one of the worst places to live when it comes to cops. Because cops here don't give a shit if you're brown, if you're black, if you're red, if you're white. Doesn't fucking matter. They will shoot you. They don't give a fuck. And it's all... the corruption and the trigger-happy nature of APD has hit such a point that it has hit international news. There is something wrong, kids. There is something fucking wrong in this country right now. There is something very, very wrong. And as a feminist, I can tell you this. I stand behind Black Lives Matter. I stand behind the principle, I stand behind the concept, and I stand behind the Black community for one very simple reason. Because as a feminist, I know that in order to ensure the quality, the equality, and the quality of life, and the rights of everybody, sometimes we have to rally behind one group. A lot of times it's females. We have to rally behind the women of this country. Because, yeah, we have the vote. And yes, now we're allowed to own property. And now we're allowed to have credit cards without having our husband or our father sign off on it. And we're allowed to work in something other than being a fucking teacher, a secretary, or a prostitute. Despite that we have made great strides as women, when we get raped, we get asked what we were wearing. Or if we were drunk. When we get abused, we get asked, why didn't you just leave? When our child commits a crime, we get blamed. Oh, well, his mother should have raised him better. When we get pregnant, we don't get paid maternity leave. We don't get extended maternity leave. 9 times out of 10, we lose our job. When we work outside the home, we're trying to escape our children. When we stay at home with our kids, we're too lazy to work. Females are probably one of the best people to understand what the Black community is going through because no matter what happens, you hear that same bullshit. Let me put it to you this way, kids. When Alton Sterling was shot, when Trayvon Martin, that's actually a better example because I haven't really gone through a whole lot of the stuff with Alton Sterling. When Trayvon Martin was killed, did they pull up George Zimmerman's background check and plaster it all over the media? No, but they did to Trayvon Martin, the fucking victim, the child, because he was a child, the child laying on the ground dead. They pulled up his background check and plastered it all over the media as if like, oh, look, he got a detention, he deserved it. But when Brock Turner raped a woman behind a dumpster, they plastered his swim times all over the media. As if that fucking makes it okay. No, when white criminals get treated the same way that Black victims get treated, then I will say that there is equality, that there's no more racism, and that all lives matter. Until that day, Black lives matter. And I stand behind the Black community. And I will use whatever influence I have, however small it is, with my channel, with my Facebook page, with my Twitter, doesn't matter. I will push for these officers to be held to the full extent of the law, because prior to this, kids, a cop shoots a black person and kills them, they don't get held accountable. They don't even get fired. Listen, my husband was in the military. And in the military, before you open fire in a fucking theater of war, you have something called the Geneva Card. It's basically a list of steps that our soldiers are expected to go through to de-escalate the situation prior to opening fire. If our soldiers in the heat of battle are expected to go through certain steps to de-escalate the situation prior to opening fire, our fucking officers should be held to the same standards, and technically they're supposed to be. They are supposed to undergo training to teach them how to de-escalate the situation, and there are steps that they are supposed to follow before they discharge their weapons. But they are not following them. We need the same. Okay, I am all for gun control as well. I know I just lost about half my viewership. I am all for gun control, but here's the thing, kids. I'm not saying hand in your guns. I'm saying smarter gun regulations. The Second Amendment, these assholes keep citing the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says that we have the right to bear arms. No, dumbass, that's not actually what it says. It says that a well-regulated militia. And the reason why it says a well-regulated militia was because at the time that the Constitution was written, the United States did not have an effective commissioned military force. All they had was militia. And these militiamen were they were as highly trained as they could be for the day. Okay? So fine. You want to follow the United States Constitution to bear arms? Then in order to own a gun, you need to go through a minimum of 8 weeks of military-style training. That's how I think it should go. Because in military-style training, you don't just learn how to use the weapon. You learn other tactics for battle. You learn battle strategy. And you also learn a sense of sanctity of human life. And it should be the same way with cops. I'm sorry. The read technique is bullshit. The discharge weapon techniques are bullshit. And the accountability is bullshit, because there is none. And when a police officer fires on a person and kills them, and it's discovered that there was no fucking reason for them to shoot them, they need to be held accountable, if only to make them an example to the rest of the fucking force. The blue wall was fine when you didn't have such things as the internet to stuff your mistakes up your ass. But guess what, kids? In the age of information, it has no fucking place here. Okay? And I love the law. I'm fucking going to school to be a lawyer. And I say this. Until white criminals are held accountable like black victims, there is no equality in this country, and I stand behind Black Lives Matter. Because occasionally we have to stand and rally behind one group to ensure the rights and the enforcement of those rights for all the groups. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.